ಇವೆರಡಾ? AC ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ. Department of Animal Health and Veterinary Solutions. So give it at 5 minutes. After that, clear na? No ambiguity. Thank you. Health inquiry, sir. Trust us. Update. Sir, in case of feed only, Puspalata is from here. Please director. No confusion. And one infusion is there. Sir, polygraph sir will be on diet and you will speak before all cases. After welcome matters, you will speak. No problem. Presentation के बाद हाँ वीडियो प्ले होने के बाद ऑल केस से आपको वेलकम मैटर्स में जाएगा वीडियोस वगैरह सब कुछ हो जाएगा बिफोर ऑल केस हाँ ಯಾವಾಗ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅದು ಈಗ ಇದನ್ನು ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಇದು ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ प्रोग्राम में चेंज होने लगे देना उसमें सारे में चेंज होगा प्रोग्राम डिटेल्स ओके 5 मिनट मेरे पास
ಶಂಕರ ಶಂಕರ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ನೀನು, ಕೈ ಎತ್ತ. ಹಾಂ ಹಾಂ, ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆಯಾ ರಾಜ್ಕುಮಾರ? ನಾನು ನಿನ್ನೆ ಸಂಜೆ ಹಾಂ ಇಲ್ಲೇ NIMP ಇದು ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದರೆ. ಹಾಂ ಬಾಯ್. ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆಯಾ ಅದೇ? ಹೌದು, ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತೇನೆ. ಹಾಂ 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 ಹಂಗೆ. ಹೌದಾ, ಸರಿ ಸರಿ, ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ. ಹಾಂ, ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ನಾನು ಒಬ್ಬನೇ ಬಂದೆ. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಕಾಣಿಸಲ್ಲ ಟೈನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ. ಹೌದು, ಇದು ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಇರೋಂಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ವಾಯ್ಸ್. ಮೈಸೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಹೇಳ್ದ, ನೀವು ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಆನ್ಲೈನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ. ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಓಪನ್ ಆಗಿ ಈಗ ಮಾತಾಡೋಣ. ಶಂಕರ ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೀಯ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು. ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿಸೋಣ. ಓಕೆ, ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿಸೋಣ. ಸರ್ವರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಭಾರತ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಪಶು ಸಂಗೋಪನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಹೈನುಗಾರಿಕೆ ಇಲಾಖೆಯ ಮಹತ್ವಾಕಾಂಕ್ಷೆ ಯೋಜನೆಯಾದ ಒನ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್, ಬಿಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮಿಲಿಂಡಾ ಗೇಟ್ಸ್ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಮತ್ತು CII ಸಹಯೋಗದೊಂದಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಯೋಗಿಕವಾಗಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಚಾಲನೆಯನ್ನು ಅನುಷ್ಠಾನಗೊಳಿಸಲು ಆಗಮಿಸಿರುವ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗೌರವಾನ್ವಿತ ಗಣ್ಯದ
ಗಣ್ಯರನ್ನು, ಅತಿಥಿ ಮಹೋದಯರನ್ನು ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿ ಬರಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಇನ್ನೇನು ಕೆಲವೇ ನಿಮಿಷಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭವಾಗಲಿದೆ. ಸರ್ವರಿಗೂ ಶುಭೋದಯ. ಇನ್ನೇನು ಕೆಲವೇ ನಿಮಿಷಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಗಣ್ಯರು ಆಗಮಿಸಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
A very good morning to one and all gathered here for the orientation and launch of One Health pilot in Karnataka, and a very warm welcome to all the dignitaries and delegates to the Garden City.
ಶಿರಬಾಗಿ ಪೊಡಮಡುತ್ತ ಸಕಲ ವೃತ್ತಿ ಬಾಂಧವ ಸಂಕುಲಕ್ಕೆ ಮನ ತುಂಬಿ ವಂದಿಸುತ್ತ ಸಮಸ್ತ ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳ ಹಿರಿಯರ ಸಮೂಹಕ್ಕೆ ಎದೆ ತುಂಬಿ ನಮಿಸುತ್ತ ಸರ್ವಲೋಕ ಗುರು ವೃಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಸರ್ವರಿಗೂ ತುಂಬು ಹೃದಯದ ಸುಸ್ವಾಗತವನ್ನು ಬಯಸುತ್ತೇವೆ. ಬಂಧುಗಳೇ, ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಭಾರತ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಪಶುಪಾಲನಾ ಇಲಾಖೆ ಮತ್ತು ಹೈನುಗಾರಿಕೆ ಇಲಾಖೆಯ ಮಹತ್ವಾಕಾಂಕ್ಷಾ ಯೋಜನೆ ಇದು. ಒನ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್, ಬಿಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮಿಲಿಂಡಾ ಗೇಟ್ಸ್ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಮತ್ತು CII ಸಹಯೋಗದೊಂದಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಯೋಗಿಕವಾಗಿ ಯೋಜನೆಗೆ ಚಾಲನೆ ನೀಡುವಂತಹ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ. ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ನಾಡಿನಾದ್ಯಂತ ಗಣ್ಯರಾದ ತಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗಮಿಸಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ಇದು ನಮಗೆ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಸಂತಸ ತಂದಿದೆ. ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಮಗದೊಮ್ಮೆ ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾದಂತಹ ಸ್ವಾಗತವನ್ನು ಬಯಸ್ತೇನೆ. ನಿನ್ನ ಸ್ತುತಿಯ ನಾಲಿಸದ ಕರ್ಣಗಳು ಒಣ ಸಿಪ್ಪೆಯಂತೆ, ನಿನ್ನ ದರ್ಶಿಸದ ಕಂಗಳು ಗಾಜಿನ ಗೋಲಿಗಳಂತೆ, ನಿನ್ನ ಕೀರ್ತಿಸದ ನಾಲಿಗೆ ಬೆಣಚು ಕಲ್ಲಿನಂತೆ, ನಿನ್ನ ಸ್ಪರ್ಶಿಸದ ಮನವು ಮರದ ಕೊರಡಿನಂತೆ, ನೀನಿರದ ಜಗವೆಮಗೆ ನೀರಿರದ ಕೊಳದಂತೆ. ಸರ್ವಶಕ್ತನಾದ ಭಗವಂತನೇ, ನೀನೆಂದ ಆತ್ಮದಂತೆ. ಭಗವಂತನ ಈ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಮರಣೆಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಇನ್ನೇನು ಕೆಲವೇ ನಿಮಿಷಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭವಾಗಲಿದೆ. ಗಣ್ಯರ ಆಗಮನದೊಂದಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಹೇಳ್ತಾ
The Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying, DAHD, Government of India, has initiated the implementation of One Health program by establishing the One Health Support Unit. The key objective of the OHSU is to develop a national One Health framework based on the learnings of the pilot implementation in the two selected states, Uttarakhand and Karnataka. The framework is aimed at improving national and state level resource allocation and policies ecosystem on One Health and early prediction, detection and diagnosis of zoonotic diseases through increased quality, availability and utility of data evidence. Shortly we will be starting the program.
ಭಾರತ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಉತ್ತರಾಂಚಲ್ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಒನ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭವಾಗಿದೆ. ಎರಡನೇದಾಗಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ವಿದ್ಯುಕ್ತವಾಗಿ ಚಾಲನೆಗೊಳ್ಳಲಿದೆ. ಇಡೀ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಉತ್ತರಾಂಚಲ್ ರಾಜ್ಯವನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಒನ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭವಾಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಇದು ಎರಡನೇ ಬಾರಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ. ಇದು ಹೆಮ್ಮೆ ತರುವಂತಹ ವಿಷಯ. ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿಯಾಗಿ ತಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ನಾಡಿನಾದ್ಯಂತ ಆಗಮಿಸಿದಿರಿ. ಅದು ಸಹ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಸಂತಸ ವಿಷಯ. ಕೆಲವೇ ನಿಮಿಷಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭವಾಗಲಿದೆ. ಅರಣ್ಯ ಇಲಾಖೆ, ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಇಲಾಖೆ ಮತ್ತು ಪಶುಸಂಗೋಪನಾ ಇಲಾಖೆ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಒನ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಜಂಟಿಯಾಗಿ ಸೇರ್ಪಡೆಗೊಂಡು ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಅನುಷ್ಠಾನಗೊಳಿಸುವಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭಿಕ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆಯನ್ನು ಇಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಸಮ್ಮುಖದಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೇನು ಕೆಲವೇ ನಿಮಿಷಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ವಿದ್ಯುಕ್ತವಾಗಿ ಚಾಲನೆಗೊಳ್ಳಲಿದೆ.
A very good morning to one and all gathered here for the orientation and launch of One Health pilot in Karnataka, and a warm welcome to everyone. So the dignitaries are arriving to the auditorium. Light is a symbol of knowledge and divinity, which dispels darkness and illuminates souls. Lightened lamp is the symbol of auspiciousness, and it is our culture to light the lamp before starting the program. May I now request our esteemed chief guest, Shri Atul Chaturvedi Sir, Secretary, Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Government of India, to kindle the lamp to embark on today's proceedings.
ಹಸತೋಮ ಸದ್ಗಮಯ ತಮಸೋಮ ಜ್ಯೋತಿರ್ಗಮಯ ಮೃತ್ಯೋರ್ಮ ಅಮೃತಂಗಮಯ ಓಂ ಶಾಂತಿ ಶಾಂತಿ ಶಾಂತಿ. ಈ ಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಜ್ಞಾನದ ಜ್ಯೋತಿ, ಅರಿವಿನ ಜ್ಯೋತಿ, ವಿಶ್ವದೆಲ್ಲೆಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಆರೋಗ್ಯವನ್ನು ತರುವ ಜ್ಯೋತಿ. ಈ ಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಸದಾ ಜಗಜಗಿಸಲಿ. ಒಂದು ಜೋರಾದ ಕರತಾಡನ ಹೊರಹೊಮ್ಮಲಿ ತಮ್ಮಿಂದ. ಗಣ್ಯರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಒಂದು ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠ ಮನಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಿಂದ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಬೆಳಗೋದರ ಮೂಲಕ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ವಿದ್ಯುಕ್ತವಾಗಿ ಚಾಲನೆಗೊಳಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಒನ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಪ್ರಾಯೋಗಿಕ ಯೋಜನೆ ವಿದ್ಯುಕ್ತವಾಗಿ ಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಬೆಳಗಿಸುವ ಮೂಲಕ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭವಾಗುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಒಂದು ಜೋರಾದ ಕರತಾಳನ ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಂದ ಮೂಡಿಬರಲಿ. I welcome all the dignitaries to the dais.
I request all the dignitaries to take their seats on the dais. honorable dignitaries, chief guests, and learned delegates. A very good morning to one and all. I, on behalf of the organizers, feel privileged to welcome you all on this auspicious occasion of orientation and launch of One Health pilot in Karnataka. I also accord a warm and cordial welcome to all delegates who have come from far and wide and who have joined us virtually. We are delighted and honored by your presence on this auspicious day. Flowers are bounty of nature which express humility, warmth, and welcome. I would be glad to request organizers to present the flower bouquets to our guests.
ಸಂಪ್ರದಾಯದಂತೆ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ KG ಪದ್ಮಾನಂದ ಇವರಿಂದ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆ.
ರಚನೆ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಕವಿ ಕುವೆಂಪು. ತೇನ ವೀನಾ ತೃಣಮಪಿ ನ ಚಲತಿ ತೇನ ವೀನಾ ಆ ತೇನ ವಿನಾ ತೇನ ವಿನಾ ತೃಣಮಪಿ ನ ಚಲತಿ ತೇನ ವಿನಾ ತೇನ ವಿನಾ ತೇನ ವಿನಾ ತೃಣಮಪಿ ನ ಚಲತಿ ತೇನ ವಿನಾ ಮಮತೆಯ ಬಿಡು ಹೇ ಮೂಢಮನ ಮಮತೆಯ ಬಿಡು ಹೇ ಮೂಢಮನ ತೇನ ವಿನಾ ತೇನ ವಿನಾ ತೃಣಮಪಿ ನ ಚಲತಿ ತೇನ ವಿನಾ ರವಿಗಿಲ್ಲದ ಭಯ ಶಶಿಗಿಲ್ಲದ ಭಯ ತಾರಾನಿವಹಕ್ಕೆ ಇರದ ಭಯ ರವಿಗಿಲ್ಲದ ಭಯ ಶಶಿಗಿಲ್ಲದ ಭಯ ತಾರಾನಿವಹಕ್ಕೆ ಇರದ ಭಯ ನಿನಗೇತಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡು ಅಣುಶ್ರದ್ಧೆಯ ನೀಡು ನಿನಗೇತಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡು ಅಣುಶ್ರದ್ಧೆಯ ನೀಡು ನಿನ್ನನೆ ನೈವೇದ್ಯವ ನೀಡು ನಿನ್ನನೆ ನೈವೇದ್ಯವ ನೀಡು ತೇನ ವಿನಾ ತೇನ ವಿನಾ ತೃಣಮಪಿ ನ ಚಲತಿ ತೇನ ವಿನಾ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಕೈ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಕಾಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಕಣ್ ತಾನಾದ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಕೈ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಕಾಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಕಣ್ ತಾನಾದ ಸುಕೃತಿ ತು ಶಕ್ತಿಯ ಆನಂದವಿರಲ್ ಸುಕೃತಿ ತು ಶಕ್ತಿ ಆನಂದವಿರಲ್ ಬಿಡು ಏತಕ್ಕೆ ನಿನಗೆ ವಿಚಾರ ಬಿಡು ಏತಕ್ಕೆ ನಿನಗೆ ವಿಚಾರ ತೇನ ವಿನಾ ತೇನ ವಿನಾ ತೃಣಮಪಿ ನ ಚಲತಿ ತೇನ ವಿನಾ ಮಮತೆಯ ಬಿಡು ಹೇ ಮೂಢಮನ ಮಮತೆಯ ಬಿಡು ಹೇ ಮೂಢಮನ ತೇನ ವಿನಾ ತೇನ ವಿನಾ ತೃಣಮಪಿ ನ ಚಲತಿ ತೇನ ವಿನಾ ತೇನ ವಿನಾ ತೇನ ವಿನಾ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
ಭಗವಂತನ ಕೃಪೆಯಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಹುಲ್ಲುಕಡ್ಡಿಯು ಚಲಿಸಲಾರದು. ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಭಾವಪೂರ್ಣವಾದ ಅರ್ಥಗರ್ಭಿತವಾದ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಶುಭ ಚಾಲನೆ ನೀಡಿದ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ KG ಪದ್ಮಾನಂದರವರಿಗೆ ವಂದನೆಗಳು.
May I now take the privilege to request Director, National Institute of Animal Nutrition and Physiology, Dr. Raghavendra Bhatta, to welcome the dignitaries and delegates. Sir, please.
Good morning. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. Dignitaries on the dais, invited guests, friends from press and media, ladies and gentlemen. The father of modern pathology, Rudolf Virchow, emphasized in 1856 that there are essentially no dividing lines between animal and human medicine. The concept is even more relevant as the world is facing the COVID-19 pandemic. This approach is referred to as One Health, focuses on acknowledging the interconnectedness of the animals, human, and the environment. It involves a multidisciplinary and cross-sectoral approach to address potential or existing risk that originate at the animal-human ecosystem interference. The overreaching purpose of One Health is to encourage collaborations in research and sharing of knowledge at multiple levels across various disciplines such as human health, animal health, plants, soil, environmental and ecosystem health in ways that improve, protect, and defend the health of all species. I feel honored and privileged that National Institute of Animal Nutrition and Physiology has been chosen as a venue for the orientation and launch of One Health pilot in Karnataka. As you all know that better nutrition is better health, and although we keep mentioning that food accounts for around 70% of the total feed livestock cost production, but it does contribute for the overall productivity, reproduction, as well as nutrition, as well as health. If you can address nutrition, then most of the time health is always taken care. I feel honored to welcome Shri Alkesh Wadhwani, Director Poverty Elevation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, to this inaugural function. Welcome, sir. I welcome Mrs. Salma F. Fahim, Secretary, Department of Animal Husbandry and Fisheries, Government of Karnataka, for this launch program. Welcome, madam. I welcome Sri Vijay Kumar Gogi, Principal Chief Conservator of Forest, Wildlife, Government of Karnataka, for this program. Welcome, sir. It will be an honor and privilege to welcome Sri Atul Chaturvedi, Secretary, Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairy, Government of India. Welcome, sir. I feel honored to invite Sri Basavarajendra, Commissioner, Department of Animal Husbandry and Veterinary Sciences, Government of Karnataka, to this program. I would like to welcome Dr. Praveen Malik, Animal Husbandry Commissioner, Government of India, who is a pillar in each and every program. The whole concept of this particular launch has been started by Dr. Praveen Malik and ably supported by giving his valuable advice and guidance, Dr. R.K. Singh Saab, the former Vice Chancellor of Indian Veterinary Research Institute. I welcome both of you, sir, for this program. I welcome Dr. Manjunath Palagar, the Director of Animal Husbandry, Government of Karnataka, for this program. I welcome all the invited guests, colleagues from the Animal Husbandry Department, friends from media, press and the electronic media, and all the ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
ಪ್ರಾಸ್ತಾವಿಕ ನುಡಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ವಾಗತ ಭಾಷಣದೊಂದಿಗೆ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಮುನ್ನಡೆ ನೀಡಿದ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ರಾಘವೇಂದ್ರ ಭಟ್ಟ, ನಿರ್ದೇಶಕರು, ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆನಿಮಲ್ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಷನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫಿಸಿಯಾಲಜಿ, ಇವರಿಗೆ ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾದ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು, ಸರ್.
May I now take the privilege to request Animal Husbandry Commissioner, Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Government of India, Dr. Praveen Malik ji, to share few words on One Health initiative. Sir, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. A very good morning to all. Honorable Chief Guest of this function, Shri Atul Chaturvedi ji, Secretary, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Government of India. Shri Vijay Kumar Gogi ji, Principal Chief Conservator of Forest Wildlife for Karnataka State. Ms. Salma Fahim, Secretary Animal Husbandry. Shri Basava Rajendra ji, Commissioner Animal Husbandry, Karnataka State. Shri Alkesh Wadhwani ji, Director Poverty Alleviation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Dr. Raghavendra Bhatta, the Director, National Institute of Animal Nutrition and Physiology of Indian Council of Agricultural Research. Dr. Paligar, Director Animal Husbandry. Dr. R.K. Singh sir, who is Director to this One Health Support Unit at Department of Animal Husbandry. The whole dignitaries sitting off the dais, August gathering from all three sectors, including the livestock sector, the wildlife sector and the health sector. We have got farmers here, and I acknowledge your presence because your role is very, very important in implementation and successful implementation of this particular initiative from the department. And the team of CII and all other ladies and gentlemen, media personnel. In fact, Dr. Bhatta has already talked about the significance of One Health, how these diseases which have emerged during past at least 2 decades, we have seen a lot of diseases emerging in our country, in the globe, and the mechanism where we can control these diseases, we can actually look for tackling those issues lies with the concept of One Health. So we have been hearing this concept for long. The most important part is how to implement this concept into reality, how to bring this concept on ground. So considering those emerging diseases, not only zoonotic diseases, but we are talking about transboundary animal diseases, all the diseases of economic importance which are affecting directly the animal sector as well, how they are impacting the livestock population, how they are impacting the food and nutritional security for the human side. So it's all revolves around the overall ecosystem where we live in, which encompasses, as rightly pointed out by Dr. Bhatta, is not only restricted to the animals or humans, but also the environment, the soil, the agriculture, and the ecosystem around us. So lots of diseases we have seen. Now to tackle those diseases, when we are talking about, like, we have a good example on the animal side is avian influenza. We have been seeing this disease in the form of epidemics. It's coming almost every year since 2006. And a good coordination was developed between human sector and the animal sector to tackle those diseases. We have got incidences of diseases like MERS, SARS. Now the latest example you are right now seeing is SARS-CoV-2, that is COVID. These changes, plus we have got lot many other diseases which are now emerging. We have been hearing about Ebola, we have been hearing about Zika, we have been hearing about Casa-New Forest disease, we have been talking about Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever and all other similar diseases which are either known to one sector or to the other sector, or sometimes we do not have those that kind of an idea in the general practitioners as such. So our focus is to understand how these diseases, they are actually present, they are prevalent in a situation, how we can forecast emergence of a new pathogen which can be devastating. We have been caught almost off guard during the time of COVID. All of a sudden it became a big pandemic, and globally it affected, I think, the worst hit this generation has seen. So the best way is how to tackle this particular issue is to understand a model which we call it predict, prevent, detect and respond. We need to predict the disease before it can actually occur in a specific population of a particular species. We need to predict the jumping of species. We need to predict how the diseases are spilling from one species to another. Can we have some kind of a mechanism based on our database, based on creation of some information beforehand? And if we can predict effectively, can we have some mechanisms where we can really prevent the disease to actually spilling over to another species, or detect it as early as possible through the latest diagnostics which are possible, which are already present, which are in pipeline, or which we can develop as quickly as possible to detect those diseases at an early stage, so that we actually can respond to those diseases in a very timely manner and the effects can be minimized. So based on this model, if we talk about how we can build in when multiple species are involved, when number of different systems are involved, so the best thing is the implementation of One Health, and this was thought very well under the able leadership of our Secretary, Shri Chaturvedi ji, who guided us in developing this program in an effective manner when we started talking to Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation on implementation of One Health. We started with our program with certain ideas and certain hypotheses, but the regular critical guidance from the Secretary has made this possible to bring it in a very viable shape, where we are talking about coordination amongst different sectors, which is very, very essential and probably is the backbone to the success of the whole program. We'll be talking about capacity building for both laboratories setups and the field functionaries. And this field functionary does not only involve the professionals, it also involves people from all sorts of life, like we have been talking about ASHA workers on the health sector, we have been talking about the forest guards and forest workers on the other side, or maybe the para-professionals in the livestock sector. Their overall capacities plus the capacities in the lab to handle the samples quickly, and most importantly, generating the information in a real-time manner, transmitting this information to the real stakeholders who can respond back, who can take policy decisions in a very quick manner. So this networking of these laboratories is important, and then probably getting this data into a digitalized format would be very, very helpful to the implementation. And last but not the least is the communication from the experts to all sorts of all stakeholders, including public at large, so that they understand what is the importance of this One Health concept, how we can actually have better communication amongst ourselves to effectively mitigate the issues in a timely manner. And this communication will go not only for the public, but also from the professionals, from one stream to the another one, so that we understand the issues from each other, we can communicate with each other in a timely manner and respond back in a very quick format. So with these understandings, we started this program with these objectives to have better coordination, a formal institutionalized mechanism which will be taken up by Dr. R.K. Singh in a detailed presentation just now, plus the laboratory capacity, the field capacity through trainings and gaps assessment and all sorts of things, and additionally how we can actually communicate these all developments to the latest developments in this field. So this One Health approach or One Health implementation is essential and for anticipating, preventing, detecting and controlling diseases that can spread between these different species of animals, including humans. Diseases, not only the infectious ones, but diseases like or the issues like antimicrobial resistance will form the part of the overall program, and definitely we are going into this direction. So overall, the whole program revolves around the collaboration, what we are talking about on papers, the effective collaboration on ground at all levels, from the top at the national level to the last stakeholders collaboration in different sectors. So this is going to be very, very important, and we'll be focusing our pilot intervention which we started with the first pilot in Uttarakhand, where we now have started talking to the farmers, to the stakeholders, how to build in better biosecurity to contain the various systems and can prevent eruption of new diseases in their system. So it's like everything is involved in just the implementation mechanism of this One Health for better health and better nutritional security for the country. So with these words, I take this opportunity to call upon all the stakeholders and my colleagues in all the sectors to join hands for working in complementary mode, which is very, very important to me. We are not competing with each other, but we are just talking about working in complementary mode so as to realize the best possible health and wellness outcomes. Thank you very much. I appreciate your patience and would like to have a better understanding in times to come so that when we start actually implementing some of our plans, which we'll be revealing very soon, we need support and an appreciation from all the sectors so that we can actually be successful in our endeavors. So thank you very much for all of you to join this particular program and launch of this One Health pilot in the state. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for briefly emphasizing on importance of One Health initiative. Director in charge, Department of Health and Family Welfare, Government of Karnataka, Dr. Pushpalata Madam has joined the program. On behalf of the organizers, I welcome you to the program. Now I would request Project Director, One Health Support Unit, Dr. R.K. Singh ji, to make a presentation on One Health Support Unit pilot interventions. Please welcome Dr. R.K. Singh.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings from One Health Support Unit at DST. Sri Atul Chaturvedi ji, Chief Guest of today's function and Secretary HD. Madam Secretary, Animal Husbandry. Dr. Praveen Malik, Animal Husbandry Commissioner. Sri Gogi ji, Vaso Rajendra ji, Madam Pushpalata, Alkesh ji, Manjunath Parigal ji, all colleagues from Animal Husbandry Department, all colleagues from Medical Department, Forest Department, our colleagues from ICAR institutes, Honorable Dr. I'm sorry. Yeah, Dr. Ganapati for this whole program, Honorable PSA Fellow, and all the colleagues, welcome to the program. Now, I'll take you through for a couple of minutes for the program, One Health Initiative program, which is taken by the department with funding arrangements from BMGF and implementing partner as Confederation of Indian Industries. Colleagues, we are all aware that microbes have shaped the human history and they will continue to be shaping this in future as well. We have seen many epidemics, we have seen many pandemics and after COVID. Now our knowledge of the general population in terms of the disease epidemics has been increasing regarding the zoonotic diseases, but at the same time, we have many other diseases which are equally catastrophic in nature. In the animals, they adversely not impact only economy, but at the same time, they do impact the social and economic framework of any country, not only country, but regional and national economies, and also the security. So these diseases are equally important. Taking into this consideration, the department initiated One Health Initiative program in a visionary manner. And today for this, we are here at the launch of Karnataka program. Now, the vision of the program is basically developing India's national One Health platform by incorporating the learnings what we gather from the Uttarakhand and Karnataka state. So it will help us in framing the national One Health program framework for the country. When this program was initiated in the last quarter, third quarter of 2020, since then a lot of it happened. And One Health Support Unit has been established at the department for coordination and taking the implementation matters with the state support of the state governments. We are also working with World Bank, wherein there is a program for support of animal husbandry system, improvement for improved One Health, implementation, ultimately the whole program. So we are working with them, and we have organized a number of events during this period. While we were formulating the action plan, we also mined what are the global One Health best practices and tried to incorporate some of them by tailoring them to suit the needs of the country. And after that, we also went for a massive exercise of selection of the states and then disease prioritization. So currently 6 states we have selected wherein this One Health program will be launched in Uttarakhand and Karnataka state. We are launching today. And diseases which have been prioritized for the state, Karnataka state, with the help of experts through stakeholder consultations and also the State Department. Now they include the anthrax, brucellosis, KFD, FMD, disease X, any disease which might lead to incursion in future time. So what are the various activities which we'll be taking up? So the first activity is about the institutionalizing the mechanism for data collection, integration with NDLM, and development of targeted surveillance plan. Second is creating a network of the laboratories across the sectors and develop one common SOP which can be utilized by them. And this will help in sharing of the resources, then identification of training needs and capacity development of the human resource which are involved in the laboratory testing, and then ultimately developing and implementing the communication plan. We need to reach to every stakeholder in a befitting manner so that we can harness the program in such a way that we are able to achieve the targets which are set for this. We have these 6 activities basically combined in 4, which will ultimately, if successfully implemented, they are going to lead to efficient disease reporting and response system. They will also lead to optimum utilization of the resources and then capability to handle zoonotic diseases, including disease X. And then we have emergency preparedness so that if any incursion comes in, we are capable of handling it at the very best. Then awareness on zoonotic diseases as well as animal diseases of economic importance, which is very important. Now, the whole governance mechanism for the project is we have an Apex Interministerial Governance Committee, which is chaired by PSA to Honorable Prime Minister. Then we have a steering committee, which is chaired by Honorable Secretary AHD, who is the mentor for the whole program. And then we have by state level One Health Committee in both these states, which would be supported by One Health Coordination Team for this purpose. And then we are also trying to sign MOUs with the 3 important stakeholders. Now, in laboratory strengthening and networking, we have basically 2 activities: laboratory strengthening, wherein we will go for certification of the identified labs and preparing rest of them for certification in due course of time. Then we'll go for technical capacity building of the people who are involved in the laboratories and also in the field to tackle the situation in a much better way. And then we are going also to have networking of the laboratories, as I said earlier. Now, government has launched a national digital livestock mission, wherein the this project activity will also be onboarding. Currently, the foot and mouth disease has been taken as a model for making the basic framework. But once this is successful, we'll be onboarding and taking the diseases which are already identified for the state and go ahead with this to develop a robust surveillance system and disease report system. Capacity building, here we'll be organizing the laboratory training programs as Dr. Malik said, that they would be the laboratory people, they would be the staff of the animal, forest, and health section. So all the stakeholders, what Dr. Malik said, we are incorporating them into the training program which we are conducting. So it would be the laboratory trainings on epidemiology with a special focus. And then we have a program on biosecurity and biosafety, wherein again we are engaging the community. Now for epidemiology training, our valued partners would be NCDC, NIVEDI, and IHBB in Bengaluru. They are the major institutes which would be helping us. Then in communication, we have developed a lot of material in terms of leaflets, infographics, and posters to pass on the information to the relevant stakeholders. And they would be, as per the stakeholders' requirement, we would be framing these interventions and communication material. We would be also levering, and we are already leveraging, but we'll be further leveraging the social media. A One Health video in Kannada has also been made, which would be released after the presentation. And in Karnataka, for Karnataka state, One Health brochure in Kannada language has also been created besides English. So last activity is basically the training programs in biosafety and biosecurity. Here again, as I said, the community is also being involved, that how to implement biosecurity at even the smaller farms, poultry farms, dairy farms, and other animal farms, even sheep and goat farms. So it would be tailor-made program wherein they would be trained, and we'll try to see that they are implemented. Of course, without the state support, nothing is going to happen. So we would be working together to get these implemented at different places. We launched this program on 6th April in Uttarakhand, and post-launch in Uttarakhand, we have already carried out our activities of assessing the needs and framing the program for adaptation in that state. We are working on it, and once this launch is over today, we'll also be visiting Karnataka again very soon and finalize the activities so that we can take them forward. So the action plan for Karnataka is basically what is urgent is formation of the state level One Health Committee and One Health Coordination Team, which would be supporting the One Health Committee at the state level. So that is the urgent, and then what activities I mentioned, all these activities in respect to Karnataka state would be made and they would be implemented in a tailor-made fashion. So this is all with the program which I had to present. And this is the support you all know that which we will be needing from the Karnataka state government. And one point which is very crucial is that very limited manpower is available in laboratories. So here we need to focus and try to see that how we can increase the number of people so that we can train them at the earliest, because only then the whole program can be taken up. Thank you so much for your patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the informative presentation on One Health Support Unit and pilot interventions. As you all know, the program is implemented in Karnataka and Uttarakhand. They are the two states selected for the program. I request the organizers to play a video on One Health in Kannada for the better understanding.
ಇತಿಹಾಸ ಪೂರ್ವ ಯುಗಗಳಿಂದಲೂ ಮಾನವರು ತಮ್ಮ ಉಳಿವಿಗಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳು ಇತಿಹಾಸ ಪೂರ್ವ ಯುಗಗಳಿಂದಲೂ ಮಾನವರು ತಮ್ಮ ಉಳಿವಿಗಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಪರಿಸರದೊಂದಿಗೆ ಸಹಜೀವನ ಸಂಬಂಧವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ, ಮಾನವನ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಮತ್ತು ಪರಿಸರ ಪರಸ್ಪರ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಹೊಂದಿವೆ ಎಂದು ನಿಮಗೆ ತಿಳಿದಿದೆ. ಪ್ರಾಣಿಜನ್ಯ ರೋಗಗಳು ಎಂದು ಕರೆಯಲ್ಪಡುವ ಝೂನಾಟಿಕ್ ರೋಗಗಳು ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಮಾನವರ ನಡುವಿನ ಸಂಪರ್ಕದಿಂದ ಹರಡುತ್ತವೆ. ಸಾಂಕ್ರಾಮಿಕ ರೋಗಗಳ ಮೂರನೇ 2 ಅಂಶ ಅಂದರೆ ರೇಬೀಸ್, ನೀಪಾ, ಆಂಥ್ರಾಕ್ಸ್, H1N1 ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸಾ ಮುಂತಾದವು ಹರಡುವುದು ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳಿಂದ. ಕೋವಿಡ್-19ಗೂ ಸಹ ವನ್ಯಜೀವಿಗಳೇ ಮೂಲ ಎಂದು ನಂಬಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಈ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಸವಾಲುಗಳನ್ನು ಎದುರಿಸಲು ಅನೇಕ ವೈಜ್ಞಾನಿಕ ವಿಭಾಗಗಳ ನಡುವೆ ಸಹಕಾರದ ಅಗತ್ಯವಿದೆ. ಝೂನೋಟಿಕ್ ರೋಗಗಳನ್ನು ನಿಭಾಯಿಸಲು ಪಶುಸಂಗೋಪನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಹೈನುಗಾರಿಕೆ ಇಲಾಖೆಯು ಜಾನುವಾರುಗಳ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಸೇವೆಗಳನ್ನು ಬಲಪಡಿಸುತ್ತಿದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಮಾನವ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಸೇವೆಗಳೊಂದಿಗೆ ಕೈಜೋಡಿಸಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ಒನ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ವಿಧಾನ ಎಂದು ಕರೆಯಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಜಾಗತಿಕವಾಗಿ ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ 1 ಬಿಲಿಯನ್ಗಿಂತಲೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಪ್ರಕರಣಗಳು ಮತ್ತು 1 ಮಿಲಿಯನ್ ಸಾವುಗಳಿಗೆ ಕಾರಣವಾಗುವ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಜನ್ಯ ಸೋಂಕುಗಳ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಆಂಟಿಬಯೋಟಿಕ್ಗಳ ಯದ್ವಾತದ್ವಾ ಬಳಕೆಯು ಜಾನುವಾರುಗಳ ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆಯನ್ನು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡುವ ಮತ್ತು ಮಾನವ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಬೀರುವ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯದೊಂದಿಗೆ ಕೀಟಾಣುಗಳನ್ನು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಚಿಕಿತ್ಸೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಪ್ರತಿರೋಧಕವಾಗಿಸುತ್ತದೆ. ಅರಣ್ಯ ನಾಶ ಮತ್ತು ಸುಸ್ಥಿರವಲ್ಲದ ಜಾನುವಾರು ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆಯಂತಹ ಪರಿಸರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಬೀರುವ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗಳು ಪ್ರಾಣಿಜನ್ಯ ರೋಗ ಹರಡುವಿಕೆಯ ಅಪಾಯವನ್ನು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಸುತ್ತವೆ. ಪ್ರಾಣಿ ಮತ್ತು ಮಾನವ ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ಸಂರಕ್ಷಣೆ ಆದ್ಯತೆಯಾಗಿದೆ. ಪ್ರಾಣಿಜನ್ಯ ರೋಗಗಳನ್ನು ತಡೆಗಟ್ಟುವುದು ಮತ್ತು ನಿಯಂತ್ರಿಸುವುದು ಜೀವನೋಪಾಯವನ್ನು ಸುಧಾರಿಸುತ್ತದೆ, ಆರ್ಥಿಕತೆ ಮತ್ತು ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಡತನವನ್ನು ನಿವಾರಿಸುತ್ತದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಹಲವಾರು ಸುಸ್ಥಿರ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಗುರಿಗಳನ್ನು ಸಾಧಿಸಲು ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ. ಈ ಉದ್ದೇಶವನ್ನು ಗಮನದಲ್ಲಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ಪಶುಸಂಗೋಪನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಹೈನುಗಾರಿಕೆ ಇಲಾಖೆ, ಭಾರತ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಮತ್ತು ಬಿಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೆಲಿಂಡಾ ಗೇಟ್ಸ್ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಒನ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಘಟಕವನ್ನು ಸ್ಥಾಪಿಸಿದೆ. ವಿವಿಧ ಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಗಳ ನಡುವೆ ಸಹಯೋಗ, ಸಮನ್ವಯ ಮತ್ತು ಸಂವಹನದ ಮೂಲಕ ಒನ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಚೌಕಟ್ಟನ್ನು ಜಾರಿಗೆ ತರಲಾಗುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಆಯ್ದ ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಯೋಜನೆಯನ್ನು ಈ ಕೆಳಗಿನ ಗುರಿಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಯೋಗಿಕವಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಲಾಗುವುದು. ಜಾನುವಾರು, ಮಾನವ, ವನ್ಯಜೀವಿ ಇಂಟರ್ಫೇಸ್ ನಡುವೆ ಸಮನ್ವಯ ಕಾರ್ಯವಿಧಾನವನ್ನು ಸಂಸ್ಥೀಕರಣಗೊಳಿಸುವುದು, ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯವನ್ನು ಕೇಂದ್ರೀಕರಿಸುವ ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ಗಳ ಜಾಲವನ್ನು ಸಂಯೋಜಿಸುವುದು, NGLMನೊಂದಿಗೆ ಡೇಟಾ ಸಂಗ್ರಹಣೆ, ಸಮಗ್ರೀಕರಣ ಮತ್ತು ಉದ್ದೇಶಿತ ಕಣ್ಗಾವಲು ಯೋಜನೆಯ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ, ತರಬೇತಿಯ ಅಗತ್ಯತೆಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಕಾರ್ಯವಿಧಾನ ಗುರುತಿಸುವುದು, ಸಂವಹನ ಸಾಧನಗಳನ್ನು ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಪಡಿಸುವುದು ಮತ್ತು ಅನುಷ್ಠಾನಗೊಳಿಸುವುದು. ಒನ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ವಿಧಾನವು ಭಾರತವು ಇದನ್ನು ಖಚಿತಪಡಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಲು ಅನುವು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡುತ್ತದೆ. ದಕ್ಷ ರೋಗ ವರದಿ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರತಿಕ್ರಿಯೆ ಸಮನ್ವಯ, ಪ್ರಯೋಗಾಲಯಗಳ ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲಗಳ ಗರಿಷ್ಠ ಬಳಕೆ, ಬಲವಾದ ಡೇಟಾ ನಿರ್ವಹಣೆಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಜನ್ಯ ರೋಗಗಳನ್ನು ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸುವ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ, ತುರ್ತು ಸನ್ನದ್ಧತೆ, ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಪ್ರಾಮುಖ್ಯತೆಯ ವಾಣಿಜ್ಯನ್ಯ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರಾಣಿ ರೋಗಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಜಾಗೃತಿ. ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಒನ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ವೇದಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಪಡಿಸುವ ಮತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಆರೋಗ್ಯಕರ ಭವಿಷ್ಯವನ್ನು ನಿರ್ಮಿಸುವ ಭಾರತ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಕೋನವನ್ನು ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಬೆಂಬಲಿಸಲು ಒಗ್ಗೂಡೋಣ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಹಲವು ಇಲಾಖೆಗಳ ಸಹಯೋಗ, ಸಮನ್ವಯ, ಸಂವಹನದೊಂದಿಗೆ ಆರೋಗ್ಯವಂತ ಮನುಷ್ಯರು, ಆರೋಗ್ಯವಂತ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳು, ತನ್ಮೂಲಕ ಆರೋಗ್ಯವಂತ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಗಳನ್ನು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡಲು ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಎನ್ನುವ ಪ್ರಾತ್ಯಕ್ಷಿಕೆಯನ್ನು, ವಿಡಿಯೋವನ್ನು ವೀಕ್ಷಿಸಿದಿರಿ. ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಮುಂದಿನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಪಶುಪಾಲನಾ ಇಲಾಖೆ ಮತ್ತು ಪಶುವೈದ್ಯಕೀಯ ಸೇವಾ ಇಲಾಖೆಯ ನಿರ್ದೇಶಕರಾದ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್ ಎಸ್ ಪಾಳೆಗಾರ್ ಅವರು ಸಭೆಯನ್ನು ಉದ್ದೇಶಿಸಿ ಮಾತನಾಡಬೇಕೆಂದು ವಿನಂತಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೇನೆ.
Honorable Secretary, Government of India, Atul Chaturvedi sir, and our Secretary Salma Madam, our Commissioner Basurajendra sir, and Sir Gogi sir, IFS, Forestry Department Secretary, and also dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. Today it is a privilege for Karnataka because we have selected one among the two states, it's Uttarakhand and the Karnataka, for this project. We are selected just because our capabilities and also we have the sufficient laboratories and other things are well equipped here in Karnataka, especially our IHNDB headed by our Dr. Venkatesh Murthy and Dr. Shoam is here for the Nevedi, the National Institute of Veterinary Epidemiology and Diagnostic Laboratories also there. Both are working together for the successful implementation of these programs because we have selected almost all 14 to 16 diagnostic laboratories are there in Karnataka. They are working at a district level. Already they are diagnosing and detecting and helping the disease. Even in the COVID time also they are involved in the diagnosing this COVID. And also I hope our department is also equipped with 2,800 doctors to serve and also help in this project for the implementation. Also, we are well equipped with our district taluka laboratories, small laboratories are also there for immediate diagnosis. I hope this program will be launched and implemented successfully in Karnataka. I expect the same support from health department and also from the forest department so that we can implement very successfully. And I thank Dr. Ganapati Sindura for bringing this project for Karnataka because he is the first person and initiated under NDLM and other things. He has interacted with us. I thank our Commissioner Animal Husbandry, Government of India, Malik sir also, because they have given us a responsible thing. I hope our department will do the successful job here and will show it. The Karnataka is the best state for implementing such of the projects that have been implemented by the Government of India. Thank you. Thank you.
ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಮಿಸಿ ಸಭೆಯನ್ನು ಉದ್ದೇಶಿಸಿ ಮಾತನಾಡಿದ ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್ ಎಸ್ ಪಾಳೆಗಾರ್ ಅವರು, ನಿರ್ದೇಶಕರು ಪಶುಪಾಲನಾ ಇಲಾಖೆ, ಇವರಿಗೆ ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ತುಂಬು ಹೃದಯದ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಸರ್.
Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying have inked a memorandum of understanding to support Government of India in developing National One Health platform. So now I would take the privilege to request Shri Alkesh Wadhwani ji, Director, Poverty Alleviation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, to share with the audience the words of wisdom on One Health.
Distinguished members on the dais, friends, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure and a privilege for me to be here to partner both with the Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying at the GOI level and the Government of Karnataka in this project. A lot of my colleagues before me have spoken about the importance of One Health, and I think you'd all agree that this has come home to all of us through COVID. COVID has been an example of how looking at One Health is important. Now, it's also clear when you look at the project that it's a pretty ambitious project. In a short period of 2.5 years, we hope that there'll be different components executed like strengthening of laboratories or capacity building of different levels of frontline workers and others, IEC, biosecurity and others. So it really is a pretty ambitious project. And the question therefore is, what really are the most important aspects and why is this so important? So for me, the importance of sharing information really comes home to me in COVID when one researcher in China decided to put the genome of SARS-CoV-2 up on the net. And that instantaneously became available for everyone in the world to look into the genome. And that's what made it possible for us to get all the tests that we have today, where in every nook and corner of the country today, you can test so easily, you can even do home tests. If this information wasn't shared in time or was shared even 2 months later, I think it would have made a huge difference to how the world would have been able to tackle COVID. So that's why collaboration and sharing of information is so important. This project has, in my view, 2 components. One is each department through this project is being strengthened in different ways. For example, labs may be strengthened, frontline workers may be strengthened. And the second part is the collaboration between the 3 departments, whether it's wildlife, animal husbandry, or the human health. I think you would all agree with me that each department is very busy, is doing their own things. So the question is, the collaboration has to be in a manner where everyone sees value in it. Otherwise, there's the danger that when you have these meetings, it might be just meetings to tick the boxes and nothing might change. So we really have to see what it is that we are sharing or need to share that will help other departments to do their work well and to prevent outbreaks of epidemics or manage epidemics or pandemics better. So I think that's something that the teams will have to think through deeply with all of you to say this is what is critical for us. The good news is, as my speaker said, that the 4 diseases that you would like to work on have been identified. So the question is and disease X, so maybe 5. So in these 4-5 diseases, what is it that we want to do? We also have to think about the most critical information or strengthening that we want to do, which is cross-sectoral, because as I mentioned, everyone is busy. I've had the opportunity to work in the human health area for 15 years with different state governments, and it's pretty clear to me that the ASHAs already are overloaded. The amount of things that they are expected to do is a lot. So if we are asking them to do more things, then it has to become clear to them why they are doing that and why sharing that with some other department will really help, for example, animal diseases or anything else, or vice versa. Normally, I think it's the other way around, and either from wildlife or animal, we may want to share information with human health to prevent human health outbreaks. So an example could be that, for example, we are taking these 4-5 diseases, whether it's anthrax, brucellosis, FMD, etc. Can we identify in the 4-5 laboratories we are strengthening that testing for some of these diseases, even if we choose one, can be done in all types of labs, whether it's an animal health lab or a human health lab. So that capacity is available across all labs. And to do that, of course, we will have to have standard protocols for testing. So even if we can identify these specific things that will help build capacity by sharing of labs for a couple of diseases, I think that would be a big win. Because when there's an outbreak, then suddenly you can have much more capacity to test. So I think these are the kind of things that might be useful for this project and everyone might be able to see the value of. So I'd like to end by saying this is an important project. We are privileged and honored to partner with you to help execute this project, and we look forward to the results of this project, especially because we feel that if these projects are successful, the likelihood is the central government might want to take it to the other states also. So this is in a way the lighthouse project for all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your words of wisdom on One Health. May I now request Dr. Pushpalata, Director in Charge, Department of Health and Family Welfare, Government of Karnataka, to share few words. Madam, please.
Good morning to all of us. Respected chairpersons on the dais, respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. On behalf of the Commissioner, Health and Family Welfare Department, and on behalf of the Director, I'll be speaking few words about this. How do we think the implementation of One Health concept help in achieving sustainable development goals? If we see the SDG, majority of them are related to the One Health components in some way or the other. SDG 3 says, ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all the ages. Aspects of One Health also included in SDG 13, which indicates the needs of urgent action to combat climate change and its impact on SDG 15, which adheres to protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainable managed forests, and also widely and combat the discrepancies and halt and reverse the land degradation and of biodiversity of the loss. It's widely accepted by scientists that COVID-19 is originated in the animal, probably a bat, which crossed over the humans, probably through an intermediary species. Now, the COVID-19 pandemic has the world's attention. We all know that. Experts believe that it may hinder the progress towards achieving our SDG goals by raising the threat to the individual's livelihood, food security, social cohesion, and also damage to the future generation by damaging the economy of the worldwide. Therefore, see, One Health is a solution to combat all these. So, as a part of the additional director of this health department, I would like to say the health department, the animal husbandry department, and also the One Health all will work as a team and try to bring this project maximum success. Thank you.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಈಗ ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ಸಲ್ಮಾ ಕೆ ಫಾಹಿಮ್, ಕಾರ್ಯದರ್ಶಿಗಳು, ಪಶುಪಾಲನೆ ಮತ್ತು ಮೀನುಗಾರಿಕಾ ಇಲಾಖೆ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರ, ಇವರು ಸಭೆಯನ್ನು ಉದ್ದೇಶಿಸಿ ಮಾತನಾಡಬೇಕೆಂದು ವಿನಂತಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೇನೆ. ಮೇಡಮ್ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್.
Shri Atul Chaturvedi ji, Secretary, Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Government of India. Shri Vijay Kumar Gogi ji, Principal Secretary, Principal Chief Conservator of Forests, Government of Karnataka. Madam Pushpalata from our Health Department. Akhilesh Wadhwani ji, Director, Poverty Alleviation, BMGF. Raghavendra Bhatt, Director, NIMP. My colleagues, Dr. Baswarajendra and Dr. Palegar from the department, Dr. R.K. Singh ji from the One Health Support Unit, and of course, Dr. Praveen Malik ji, Commissioner, Animal Husbandry Department, Government of India. All the other people who are very essential to this launch today, like Sindhura Ganapati ji and a lot of my colleagues here. The respected delegates who have come today, as well as friends in the media. Today is a very important day. We are gathered here today for the orientation and the launch of One Health pilot in Karnataka. And it is a great privilege because it is being launched from Karnataka, and this framework will be taken to the rest of the country once the pilot has been completed. Now coming to One Health program itself, like the speakers before me have outlined, it is a strategy. It is actually an approach which aims to balance and optimize the health of people, of the animals, and the entire ecosystem. So we realize that animal health, human health, as well as wildlife health and the entire ecosystem health is interdependent. So that is the reason why we need to come together to work together as a team. It is basically multi-sectoral approach. So that's why we have various stakeholders, beginning with the Department of Animal Husbandry, Government of India, which is ably supported by the One Health state unit, and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, along with CII. There are other, but the most important stakeholders, I would say, are the Department of Health, Forest Department, and our Department of Animal Husbandry, which will make this possible. So these are important stakeholders that will take the program to its completion. Why is One Health important? Again, it has been outlined here on this forum earlier as well. There is about 70% of the pathogens that are found in humans today are of animal origin. And we have also seen the impact of other zoonotic diseases, how it has impacted the economy, employment, poverty. You name the variable, it has impacted us. So it's very important that the country has woken up to addressing this challenge, and it is our privilege that we have Dr. Chaturvedi ji as the head of the project steering committee, who is giving us this direction and lead to take this forward, sir. Now coming to why Karnataka was selected, I want to thank all of you, because there was a very rigorous selection process that was followed, wherein some non-operational as well as operational parameters were judged, and then the state was selected, for which all of you here have played a very important role. So my congratulations on that. And finally, coming to the main, what are the main programmatic elements? You saw it in the video also. And how will that impact or how will that lead to a particular outcome? That clarity has to be there amongst us. So the first thing is a single window coordination among the health-wildlife interface has to be created. You know very well, in government we work in silos. We don't interact with each other. So this is a very important component. We need to talk to our colleagues in the health department, in the forest department. This will lead to creating an efficient disease reporting and a response coordination mechanism over a period of time. Then secondly, strengthening One Health lab network. This is very important because it will lead to an optimum utilization of our lab resources and the infrastructure that we already have. And infrastructure will also be strengthened as an outcome of the One Health project. Then coming to the third aspect of this program is integrating disease reporting with the NDLM program. We are again one of the states that have been chosen to implement the NDLM program, as you all know. There is a lot of progress that needs to be achieved in NDLM. Again, Dr. Ganapati has been very crucial in that initiative for us. So this integration will lead to building of capacity to handle diseases with strong data management. This is another new area for us in the government. We don't do our decisions, make our decisions based on a complete analysis of data. So this will be a good opportunity for us to develop this skill and take it forward. The fourth component is developing customized training modules and IEC material. Of course, this will be an important part because it will lead to public awareness of the zoonotic diseases and the economic impact of these diseases on people. And lastly, The last component or the important component is strengthening the biosafety and the biosecurity measures in our labs in the field. So this is another aspect. And ultimately, at the end of it all, we should be able to have emergency preparedness, and an emergency response system should be in place anytime there is any kind of an outbreak that is reported. So I would like to conclude by saying that it is a privilege for having been chosen to implement this pilot in our state, sir. And I would also like to thank all the stakeholders and urge them to actually participate and do well in this program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam, for the inspiring words. May I now invite Shri Vijay Kumar Gogiji, Principal Chief Conservator of Forest, Government of Karnataka, to share a few words with us.
Sri Atul Chaturvedi, Secretary, Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry, Government of India. My fellow colleagues, Madam Salma Fahim, Madam Pushpalata, Basavarajendra, Raghavendra Bhatt, Mr. Palegar, Mr. Ake Singh, and my friends, Mr. Sindhura Ganapati and Ramesh, Director of NDRI, Bengaluru, and all dignitaries who have assembled in this hall. In the first place, I congratulate the team for having selected Karnataka, as well as I thank them for having selected Karnataka as a pilot thing to achieve this One Health pilot program in Karnataka and replicate this elsewhere. As far as Karnataka is concerned, we are one of the progressive states in all departments, and our coordination capacity is also very good at all levels. For example, once a flu was noticed in Mysore Zoo. Director Mysore Zoo, without waiting for anybody's orders, she closed the zoo for 2 months and reported the matter to central government and saw to it that it doesn't go beyond Mysore Zoo premises. All biosafety measures were adopted in Mysore Zoo itself. So, such is the proactive approach, and it is at a cost of nearly 2 crores a month. Our gate collections are 2 crores per month in Mysore Zoo. Our expenditures will remain same even if we don't entertain guests in Mysore Zoo as visitors. But at the cost of 4 crore rupees loss, we maintain the biosafety so that the disease won't go beyond Mysore Zoo. And many a times, whenever Kasnur forest disease is noticed, first thing we alert our forest staff. We say that use this chuna, lime, spread it as a line around your quarters. Procure as much as lime it is possible. Help villagers also to follow this. We have been told that ticks which harbor Kasnur forest disease won't cross lime. Even if they cross lime, they are likely to die in the process of crossing the lime powder. So such are the precautions whenever we are told, and we do our job very well. And in the past, when coordinations were not so good, we were hearing when we joined the service, entire population of Gaur in South India was wiped out of reindeer pest because there were no coordinations between animal husbandry department and wildlife department. Now again, the population has revived and reindeer pest is never heard. And as a wildlife manager, whenever foot and mouth disease was noticed around sanctuaries and national park, we used to approach local veterinary doctors and ask for ring vaccination. Every cattle which enters the forest has to be vaccinated so that F&M, it doesn't spread to wild animals and we don't lose one wild animal. So whenever animal husbandry department was falling short of resources, we caused for the procurement of vaccines in bulk and helped local doctors to vaccinate entire cattle population around national parks and sanctuaries, and we contained the disease as well as we prevented it from escaping into the wildlife, and there was not even a case noticed in wilderness. On the other hand, every death of wild animal, it is closely watched. If it is a natural process, if it is a predation by tiger, deer is dead, we see it and then watch it carefully and leave it. And in case we have got suspicion that the deceased animal has got some, or dead animal is, death is due to some kind of disease, we watch it. We do conduct postmortems whenever it is necessary, when we feel that it is unnatural death. And in case of noticing any disease like anthrax or something like that, closest symptoms to that, we bury the carcass or destroy the carcass so that disease doesn't spread. So these are the precautions we take in forest department, and we have got very close coordination with veterinary department at field level. Even some of the veterinary officers are on deputation to wildlife wing of Karnataka Forest Department. And whenever there is possibility of capturing a wild animal because of its incapacity to move, we collect blood samples from the animals. These blood samples are sent to Wildlife Institute of India and CCMB to understand the disease load in wildlife population. If any disease is noticed, those institutions like CCMB and Wildlife Institute, they will notify us that this is the disease we have noticed in population of wildlife. So that we convert it into a information and maintain that information and coordinate with our veterinarians who are part of our zoo management as well as wildlife management. So it is very, very easy to do this One Health program, because in this program we have got our own veterinary doctors who will be able to partner with this particular program, so that coordination is very, very easy. And we have appointed Mr. Prabhakar Priyadarshi, who is the Bannerghatta National Park Director. He is headquartered at Bengaluru. So he will be a nodal officer from Karnataka State Forest Department. He will be coordinating with all the officials. I hope this program will be very, very successful. With these words, on the other hand, I want to emphasize coordination in a perfect manner, having respect for everybody's profession, whether it is veterinary department, wildlife department, health department. Irrespective of our positions, we have to forget our positions and understand the importance of each of the contributor for this cause. So with good synchronization, we will be able to achieve this One Health program in Karnataka. Prior to everything started, it was One Health, it was ecosystem health. Man has moved away from ecosystem. So he has segregated diseases of human beings and diseases of animals which are domesticated, and then wild animals. When man was part of ecosystem, when he was living in forest, it was only ecosystem's health ensured continued acquired immunity for all human beings, including human beings. Today also, I represent a world where the subjects live without visiting doctors. All wild animals, they never visit doctors. But if you look at their health, anybody will envy. When you see a tiger glowing rut of its, or any animal for that matter, which lives in forest, they follow the principle of Ayurveda, health of science. Ayurveda say, Rutucharya and Dinacharya, how you have to start the day, how you have to end the day, and in what season what needs to be followed. We have studied Ayurveda, but we are not following. All animals are following that. They synchronize their daily activities with sunrise, with sunset. They close their activities. That is how they perfectly follow Rutucharya. And every season, they are not static. Every season, what is required, they adapt to that season and act accordingly with perfect following of Dinacharya and Rutucharya. All wild animals live without consulting a doctor, not taking a pill, but they are healthy. Probably we have to do something of that type in achieving One Health program, bringing synchronization between the universal forces and living in harmony with nature in some way, so that the mutual dependence is not lost. If any wild animal becomes extinct, what is dependent on that particular species, it will cling on to domestic animals and then onwards to human beings. See that no animal is extinct from this world, so that ecosystem balance is maintained and human health is also maintained through that. With these words, I thank the organizers for having invited me to this function and having given me this opportunity of getting oriented towards a new concept of One Health program in Animal Husbandry Department. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your words. Now, based on the requirements of Karnataka state, the One Health Support Unit has developed a brochure and capacity building plan for professionals and paraprofessionals from health, veterinary and wildlife. May I now request Honorable Shri Atul Chaturvedi, sir, Secretary, Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, and other dignitaries on the dais to launch the One Health brochure. ಒನ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಪ್ರಾಯೋಗಿಕ ಯೋಜನೆಯಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿದ್ಧಪಡಿಸಲಾದ ಒನ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಪದ್ಧತಿಯನ್ನು ಅಳವಡಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಎಲ್ಲರ ಆರೋಗ್ಯವನ್ನು ಸುಧಾರಿಸಿ ಎಂಬ ಕರಪತ್ರವನ್ನು ಬಿಡುಗಡೆಗೊಳಿಸುವಂತೆ ವೇದಿಕೆ ಮೇಲಿರುವ ಗಣ್ಯರನ್ನು ವಿನಂತಿಸುತ್ತೇನೆ. Thank you, sir. May I now request the dignitaries on the dais to launch One Health Capacity Building Plan in English. One Health Capacity Building Plan. Thank you, sir. May I now request the dignitaries on the dais to launch One Health Capacity Building Plan in Kannada. ಒನ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಪ್ರಾಯೋಗಿಕ ಯೋಜನೆಯಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿದ್ಧಪಡಿಸಲಾದ ಒನ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ ವೃದ್ಧಿ ಯೋಜನೆ ಎಂಬ ಪ್ರಕಟಣೆ ಅಥವಾ ವರದಿಯನ್ನು ಬಿಡುಗಡೆಗೊಳಿಸುವಂತೆ ಗಣ್ಯರನ್ನು ವಿನಂತಿಸುತ್ತೇನೆ.
ಹಲವು ಇಲಾಖೆಗಳ ಸಹಯೋಗ, ಸಮನ್ವಯ ಮತ್ತು ಸಮನ್ವಯದೊಂದಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಆರೋಗ್ಯ, ಒನ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್, ಆರೋಗ್ಯವಂತ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣಕ್ಕೆ ಒನ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗಣ್ಯರಿಂದ ಕರಪತ್ರ ಅನುಷ್ಠಾನಗೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತಿದೆ.
Thank you, sir. May I now take the privilege to request Honorable Shri Atul Chaturvedi, sir, Secretary, Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Ministry of Fisheries and Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Government of India, for the keynote address. Sir, please.
Well, good afternoon to all of you dignitaries on dais and off the dais, especially first of all, our host, Dr. Bhatta, and Salma, the veterinary secretary, Mr. Vijay Kumar Gogi, the principal chief conservator of the forest, Dr. Pushpalata, the health department director, my friend Alkesh, R.K. Singh ji, and other officials of the veterinary department here on the dais, team of CII led by Jane, and obviously my guide, Dr. Sindhura, who's been guiding us and in this department on a whole lot of new initiatives since the day he has arrived in India from US. And under his guidance, we have initiated a lot of programs. This is one of the example of what we are doing today. Well, in Hindi, there is actually Urdu. It's said that "Jaan hai to jahan hai," or the health is wealth. So this is all about health. Health becoming the wealth, and the wealth cannot be generated unless health is there. So this is the approach which our Honorable Prime Minister keeps talking about, is that the whole of government approach. And if we have to achieve health for all, we also have to adopt the whole of government approach, where all the stakeholders, government departments have to come together to implement a program like this. And it's not only all the stakeholder government departments, but all the other stakeholders in private and in community, starting from the farmer to the industry who have to run their businesses. If health is not the core of all this, then nothing is going to succeed. In fact, recently, Jaggi Guru has been talking about the soil health as well, which is again at the core of everything. In fact, as far as the health is concerned, because if soil is not healthy, the whole ecosystem will get affected by the damages which will accrue to your body, and in the process the whole economy will get damaged. As Dr. Pushpalata had spoken about the sustainable development goals, in starting from livelihood to economy, everything is important. Unless we achieve health, nothing can be achieved. In fact, health is, if we talk about one health in human being, it's not about zoonosis. We are not talking about zoonotic health here. We are talking about one health, which is all living beings are interconnected in that. There could be number of diseases in the animal which are not affecting human, but directly, but indirectly, yes, because the whole economy gets impacted because the availability of food gets impacted because of the disease, and in the process, the whole livelihood of the farmers get affected, the health of the human being gets affected because of lack of availability of the nutritious food which is provided either through the milk, meat, or egg, for that matter. So therefore, the economy of the farmer gets affected. So it is got multiplication in terms of the impact on the whole economy is concerned. I think there's somebody's mobile is ringing. So I don't know whose mobile is that. Okay. So therefore, when we are talking about One Health, we have to take care of everything under the sun as far as the health of the living being is concerned, or the health of the ecosystem, as Mr. Vijay Kumar Gogi mentioned about, where human is an important component in addition to the whole wildlife and domesticated animal and everything put together. In fact, whenever we are talking about One Health, we start talking about keeping our house in order without actually wondering about how we have to keep our house in order. So when the human doctors are talking about One Health, they only land up talking about how to keep the human being healthy without bothering about how to keep the whole ecosystem healthy around them, unless that is achieved. So what we are trying to attempt out of this particular initiative is basically that all the platform should come together and start talking to each other. And before you start talking to each other, you also have to know what you have to talk. And therefore, all these manuals which we released today tells you about what you need to talk, what you need to ask from the other system, what you need to share with the other system. And this whole platform which we are trying to set up is a platform, kind of a virtual or a digital platform on which we should learn what to talk to each other, and we should also learn how to share important things with each other and how to keep our whole system healthy in the process. There are a number of diseases which are impacting both human and animal and wildlife, and the whole exercise which we have undertaken was very well explained by the One Health unit of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, who did a presentation here by Dr. R.K. Singh, and also by Salma. She also spoke about how we have gone about selecting the states and how we have gone about selecting the diseases. It's a very objective process which we have undertaken, and we have taken number of parameters and number of factors which have gone into consideration. So it is not like we have taken one North Indian state and one South Indian state. No, it's just by matter of chance that we have Karnataka and Uttarakhand as number 1 and number 2 states where we have decided to undertake this project, or the other projects which we are talking about. So therefore, these factors which have contributed to the selection of the states have led to what we are doing today, and I'm sure how we are going to proceed further would further enhance our learning in a way so that we are able to scale up this whole this whole project and this pilot into a national level program. Both in the world and in the country, we have been talking about One Health for several decades. It's nothing new as of now that we only started talking just yesterday. But it's all in a concept which we now have to bring it on the ground. And how do we bring it on the ground? We can't possibly start at the whole country level, because the country is huge, and if we start doing that, we may not achieve what we want to achieve. Therefore, we want to set up a platform in few states to begin with, where we bring all the systems together and then get on to the whole country thereafter. So therefore, this pilot which we are talking about. Now, what we have done from Government of India side, especially animal husbandry side, to put this into operation is, first of all, how do we set our house in order first? And that's where this whole concept of what Salma mentioned, NDLM, some of you must be wondering what is NDLM. So it is the National Digital Livestock Mission. So if you've been following the national level progress or number of things, 2 years ago, the Honorable Prime Minister had announced National Digital Health Mission from the Red Fort on Independence Day speech, where he talked about that every human being health record would be digitized, so that you go to a particular doctor on one particular day and tell your problem. He opens his system and sees your whole history of what all you have undergone in terms of health problems and if vaccination records and stuff. So that's a process which is undergoing in the human health front, which is the National Digital Health Mission. Now, in the National Digital Livestock Mission, what we are trying to achieve is the plus of the National Digital Health Mission. Because what we are trying to do here is that we are not only bringing the record of every animal in terms of their health, but also in terms of their productivity, also in terms of how many calves have been given birth to by that particular cow, and who are the parents of that particular cattle, and the whole life history in terms of productivity, in terms of how much milk is being given, how much feed has been fed to that particular animal and things like that. So what we are trying to do is that we are trying to tag every animal through an ear tag with a unique 12-digit bar-coded number, which can be machine read as well as read physically. Idea is that, and we are linking this particular number to a platform called Information Network on Animal Productivity and Health, INAF platform, which is being maintained by the National Dairy Development Board. And we are now trying to upgrade that further in the National Digital Livestock Mission with the help of all those organizations and agencies who had designed the human Aadhaar system. The iSpirit was one of the organizations which conceptualized and implemented the human Aadhaar system. So they are our advisor on this particular system of establishing identity of every animal through a unique number and digitizing that whole onto a platform. We have TCS and ENY designing our software and working out how to implement this whole concept. The idea is that we digitize all the health records and all productivity record of the animal on a platform. And plus, we also set up a call center. And the moment a service provider goes to any farmer, he has the picture taken of that number and the whole record gets displayed in terms of what are the requirements. And similarly, the farmer also, if he has a smartphone, he can also see the whole record of that. If he does not have that, then with the normal phone also, he can make a call to the call center. So we are taking care of not only the big farmers who have smartphones and others, but also a normal small farmer who may not have a smartphone, but normal phone now is available across the country to everyone. So he can give a call center a call and he can know the whole record and everything possible under that. And also we are trying to digitize the payment system in such a way that we give a kind of the cash card kind of a thing to the farmer, out of which he can pay for all the services which he receives from anyone, whether it is a doctor or whether it is the service provider for a whole lot of other issues like artificial insemination and things like that. And we're also trying to set up a platform on which all these informations are shared, as well as the e-commerce kind of a platform, and I can get you in this much of price, out of which half of the price would be pocketed by the middleman and the rest of it will be shared between the buyer and seller. So this is also trying to organize that whole unorganized market into a commercial platform of sale and purchase of animal across the country of hybrid. So this National Digital Livestock Mission is the backbone of, you can say, the One Health program, because at least on the animal ecosystem, especially the domesticated species of, say, cattle, buffalo, sheep, goat, and pig, we'll have this particular platform through which all the information on the surveillance, diagnostic, and productivity, and things like that would be taken care of. And this information then would be available to be shared with the other platform, that is the wildlife health on one side and human health on the other side. So diagnostic, surveillance, and every information would be available on digital mode, and that could then lead to the One Health implementation with reference to human health, where there's a National Digital Health Mission going to be set up, or in the process of being set up in a number of states of the country. And on the wildlife health, they'll have to probably also digitize similar way if they have not done. So that this whole thing becomes one digital platform to share on One Health aspect. So that's the idea with which we are proceeding as far as this is concerned. Now the other important aspect which I wanted to share with you is the system of pandemic preparedness. You know, with the onslaught of a disease like COVID, we have learned in a big way how we need to manage the epidemic and pandemics when they occur in the country. But unfortunately, the similar kind of learning is yet to happen on the animal front. There is no proper planning as far as the pandemic preparedness is concerned, as far as the animal beings are concerned. And therefore, it can impact, as I said, the ill health of animal can impact the whole ecosystem as far as economy of the country is concerned, or the health of the country is concerned. So therefore, we need to prepare ourselves well on the pandemic as far as the animal front is concerned, because there are a number of diseases which are happening across the animal kingdom or animal ecosystem, for which we need to take number of measures. So what we are trying to do is trying to bring all this into focus through this national level animal pandemic preparedness initiative. And this is, let me tell you, this is something which is not being tried out anywhere else in the world. So this would be a unique initiative once we take it, and we can scale it up to a global level, like we have done it in case of, say, International Solar Alliance, if some of you have heard, how India took the lead and then got a whole lot of other countries to participate and partner on the International Solar Alliance to derive energy out of sun and solar. So similarly, this is another initiative which has the huge possibility in terms of scaling it up to global level. And there could be a number of benefits out of it, because the animal disease is becoming very prevalent across the world, and some of the hotspots happen to be in South Asia and Asia, among others. And therefore, what we need to do is also ensure healthy animal, and for that you need to take number of preventive measures, including vaccine and pharmaceutical and drugs preparation. And the way India is a leader in terms of the vaccine and pharmaceutical with reference to the human health, India can again become a leader on the vaccine on the animal front, and also the drugs and pharma on the animal front. And therefore, this whole initiative can lead to a whole lot of such activity generation, for which the funding can flow easily from across the world. And that's what we are trying to do through this Animal Pandemic Preparedness Initiative. And the focus is primarily on the surveillance and monitoring, early warning and response, and the whole ecosystem coordination. And as I said, vaccine development and R&D work, which is need to be undertaken, and the regulatory framework which we need to put in place, especially for expeditious approval and speedy approval of number of drugs and vaccine which needs to be commercialized and marketed the way they need to be at the earliest. So how do we ensure that, and how do we bring everything online with the help of Drug Controller General of India, the way it is being done for the human health front? Similar linking is being done through this. So these are number of steps which we are taking in terms of Animal Pandemic Preparedness Initiative, which we also propose to launch very soon, depending upon the availability of the leadership as far as this part is concerned. So basically these are the other areas which we are looking at in terms of the whole One Health aspect which we are talking about. In addition to that, another thing which we are also going to do very soon is to get some World Bank funding on setting up of the infrastructure for diagnostic and surveillance mechanism across the country. In addition to whatever we are doing with the help of funding from Government of India and state government in terms of disease diagnostic and surveillance and monitoring, etc. We need to have more such systems in place. Like we have taken recently an initiative of making available the quality veterinary services to the doorstep of the farmer, whether it is in form of the nationwide artificial insemination program, which is being 100% funded by Government of India, free of cost to the farmer doorstep as far as the artificial insemination is concerned, or through the initiative of mobile veterinary dispensaries, where all states we have given 100% funding for setting up of these mobile veterinary dispensaries, and also not only stopping at that, but also supporting the operational cost of these mobile veterinary dispensaries across the country in sharing of 60 and 40. Karnataka has been a very big beneficiary of this, and recently they launched these mobile veterinary dispensary for the state of Karnataka, where our minister was there along with the state leaders to launch that particular program. So these are some of the things which we are doing, but in addition to that, we need to put in some more funding and more support, and that's where we are going to get this funding from the World Bank, which is at a very advanced stage of consideration. And once that comes in, that will also help us in further strengthening this One Health initiative as far as these areas are concerned. Number of other things which we have also undertaken is like the some of the critical diseases of the animal ecosystem, for which we are giving another 100% funding as far as the vaccination program is concerned. To start with, we started with the FMD and brucellosis, and then now we have also gone into PPR and the classical swine fever. These are the 4 critical diseases worldwide as far as affecting the animal ecosystem in a big way, and also affecting the trade across the world in a big way. And if we can somehow control these diseases, our exports can go up manyfold as far as the livestock products are concerned. So with this, I think at the launch of this One Health pilot in Karnataka, it gives me immense happiness to declare that we have already had a successful launch of this project in Uttarakhand, as was mentioned by Dr. Malik, and in the presentation you saw some photographs of that. I'm sure the state of Karnataka and state of Uttarakhand will show the way for the country as far as how to successfully implement these both National Digital Livestock Mission as well as the One Health platform, which we are aspiring to set up across the country at a national level in each state. So therefore, I think this kind of umbrella for converging the resources of all the stakeholders will go a big way in achieving what we are aspiring to do in terms of One Health. And I'm sure all of you will go back happy with better understanding of One Health out of today's deliberation. And I would also like to thank the director of the National Institute of Animal Nutrition, Dr. Bhatta, who was kind enough to allow us to hold this particular workshop here and launch of it from his institute, which is doing phenomenal work. Let me tell you what Dr. Bhatta has done. He's doing some of the great work for the nutrition aspect of the animal ecosystem, and working out a lot of new things which are helping us, because the whole productivity, at least 30 to 40% of the productivity of animal dependent upon the good nutrition level and good feed and fodder. And if we can crack that, I think we have cracked the productivity issue in a big way. So I thank Dr. Bhatta for that, and whatever he has assisted us and helped us in terms of better productivity of domesticated animal as far as the livestock sector is concerned. And not the least, I would like to thank the state government of Karnataka for taking this initiative of agreeing to launch this particular One Health platform from the state of Karnataka, where they are already doing a pilot on the National Digital Livestock Mission. So these two combined together, I think, I'm sure Karnataka would go much faster than Uttarakhand is, though we have launched the program in Karnataka later than Uttarakhand by 2 months or so. But I'm sure the kind of governance which this state is known for, they would deliver the expected outcomes which have been envisaged in this particular project in a much faster way than any other state of the country. And not the least, I would like to thank Dr. Sendura, who's led us into all these initiatives. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Orientation and launch of One Health pilot in Karnataka. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಪ್ರಾಯೋಗಿಕ ಯೋಜನೆ ಚಾಲನೆಯ ವಿದ್ಯುಕ್ತ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಅಂತಿಮ ಘಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರನ್ನ ಮತ್ತು ವೇದಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಉಪಸ್ಥಿತರಿರುವ ಗಣ್ಯರಿಗೆ ವಂದನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಅರ್ಪಿಸುವವರು ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯರಾದ ಶ್ರೀ ಎಚ್ ಬಸವರಾಜೇಂದ್ರ, ಆಯುಕ್ತರು, ಪಶುಪಾಲನಾ ಇಲಾಖೆ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಇವರಿಂದ.
Good afternoon, everyone. Coming to the conclusion, I thank Sri Atul Chaturvedi ji for conceptualizing this One Health program, taking little steps for betterment of mankind, and also for releasing the brochure of capacity building, and also for the excellent, inspiring, informative speech on the project. I thank Dr. Alkesh Wadhwani for being part of us, for supporting this project. I thank Dr. Praveen Malik, Commissioner, Government of India, for his constant driving force for these projects, not only other projects also. And Dr. Rajkumar Singh, Director of One Health, for your brief introduction to the project, as well as taking interest in this. I thank Sri Vijay Kumar Gogiji, Principal Conservator of Forests, for his participation, for his interest, and also his insight into wildlife for us. And I thank Dr. Raghavendra Bhatta for hosting this here. And I thank my secretary, Salma, Madam Chief, for her constant interest and driving this program since the past few days, being behind us. Thank you, Madam. And Dr. Palegar, my director, and all scientists, doctors who are part of this program, to be successful, and all the delegates here, all the doctors here who have come and attended. I thank you all. Thank you. Anybody I missed? Oh, sorry. Madam, sorry, Dr. Pushpalata. Since you came late, it was not there. I thank Director Pushpalata, who basically, I think that department should be the most beneficial department of this entire program. Okay, I am also part of that department. We're all, thank you.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್. ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ವೇದಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಉಪಸ್ಥಿತರಿರುವ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗಣ್ಯಾತಿ ಗಣ್ಯರಿಗೂ ತಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಹೃತ್ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾದಂತಹ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಅಂತ್ಯಗೊಂಡಿದೆ. ಭೋಜನ ನಮಗಾಗಿ ಕಾಯ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಭೋಜನವನ್ನು ಸ್ವೀಕರಿಸಿ ತೆರಳಬೇಕೆಂದು ವಿನಂತಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್ ಸರ್, ಮೇಡಮ್.